Welcome to today's Breakfast Club call. My name is Pamela Pacheco, and I have the absolute honor, pleasure, and privilege of being your host today. If you are just joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are joining us once again, welcome home. I remember when I first started entrepreneurship almost a decade ago, I was looking forward to these type of calls. Not only was I looking forward to these type of calls for the information I was going to receive, but I was looking forward to these type of calls for the inspiration I was going to receive. I know your subconscious mind is most opened in the morning and at night. So garbage in is garbage out and greatness in is greatness out. So shout out to each and every single one of you guys that said, hey, I'm going to make a decision to surround myself and fuel myself with some greatness. So happy Freedom Week. I'm going to say week because I feel like the 4th of July holiday kind of landed a little weird this year, but I am grateful nevertheless that we do get to talk about freedom. We get to enjoy some of my favorite freedoms. A lot of you said some of your favorite freedoms were time freedom, financial freedom. Some of you said that for some of your favorite freedoms was freedom of speech, freedom of choice. It is incredible. You know, I was talking to some of my friends the other day, and they were telling me about their travels to a communist country that we are not going to name. But it was very scary because they could not even take out their own money from the ATM because in that country, it was not allowed. And I was just like, man, and for that and so many reasons, right? This has been a week to just reflect on all of the freedoms that we have, on all of the freedoms that we have access to. And if we're being very honest, sometimes we take these freedoms for granted. Last week, we spoke about our squared bonus. We also spoke about ways to create culture. We spoke about different things because at the end of the day, we do understand that you have to be what it is that you want to see. That was one of the greatest keys in culture. And if you did not tune in last week, make sure you check out the recording. It is on our Chosen Global YouTube page. But clarifying roles and changing confrontations, connotations, and get insanely specific, praising participation, never stop talking about it. But here's one of the biggest things. It was you can't change what you refuse to confront, right? From last week and us creating a culture of success, us focusing and being what it is that we want to see. And today, what I wanted to talk about was some of the things that freedom can lead to. What are some of the benefits? And last night we had our team synergy call, which was absolutely amazing. I'll get that recording to you guys shortly if you did not get it. But I love that, you know, every leader shared something that was important for them for freedom. And 2 weeks ago, we spoke about how making sure that you are attending our national events, it meets all of your basic human needs, right? It meets your need of certainty and security. It meets your need of variety. It meets your need of growth. It meets your need of love and connection and contribution and significance. And it meets all of your human needs. However, let's be real. You cannot have freedom without sacrifice. That was one of the things that Mr. Josh Valentine reminded us of last night on that call. And it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get the freedom that you have? See, the reality is that I remember attending an event, and I remember that it was my mom's birthday. And I know some people on here are like, oh my goodness, don't you regret that? Nope, I do not. Before you go judging me, just listen, okay? Because, you know, we keep it real over here. But it was my mom's birthday. I remember it like yesterday. It was a Saturday, and we had a local training event, which what we call a Super Saturday or an SRT today. Well, I was one of the fastest growing leaders in that city, and I had a few hundred people attending this event. And even though it was my mom's birthday and my mom was my queen, my world, my soul, everything, I knew that I had to sacrifice that early morning, and it was a few hours. Luckily for us, we set it up the Super Saturday that it was done by 2:00, but I had to sacrifice those few hours so that I could get the freedom that I needed with my mom. See, here's the reality. A lot of people, and I remember, you know, had aunts and uncles and cousins and coworkers and friends, frenemies, right? That were like, you're crazy. I can't believe you're missing your mom's birthday to go to a training. Da, 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 da. And I said, hey, I know what the vision looks like for my mom and I's life. And I know what the vision looks like for freedom for our family. And I also know that if I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. I can't be the person that is talking about one thing, but doing the next. And because of where I was at in my life, there were certain things that I was willing to sacrifice. Now, do I know that everybody's life is different? Absolutely. That was just my personal journey. But I will tell you that I was happy that I sacrificed those few hours. I still got up early that morning and made my mom breakfast for her birthday, took it to her bed, right? Made sure she was great in every aspect. But I said, Mom, I'll be back in a few hours. I got to take care of some things. In the meantime, here's some money to go get your hair done, go get your nails done, and you'll be good by the time I get home. You think she was mad that I was not there those few hours? I don't think so. Like she was okay with it, right? She had a nice hair appointment, nail appointment. She was good. Took her to dinner that day. But my point to you is this: had I not sacrificed those few hours, I would have not had the freedom that I needed to be there for my mom when it counted most for her life. See, the reality was that as much as I wanted and I was going to attain financial freedom, I was more focused on time freedom. And I knew that if I would focus on the time freedom, the financial freedom will be a byproduct of it. I knew that if I was focusing on helping more people be time free, that the financial freedom would be a byproduct of it, that the travel, the lifestyle, all of these things will be a byproduct of focusing on the bigger picture, which was freedom for all, not just Pam, not just her mom, not just her family, not just her team, freedom for all. So I ask you today, what is it that you are willing to sacrifice for your freedom? What is it that you're willing to temporarily give up for your freedom? Because here, if you are ever, and you're like, okay, well, you know, what are some of the top freedoms that people desire? What do you think is some of the top freedoms that people desire? Type it in the chat. Let me see. Who is paying attention this morning? What do you think is one of the top freedoms people desire? Yup. Make sure you write to all panelists and attendees, not just panelists. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. 100%. Yes, financial freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, the demand to make more money is the number one demand in the world. Number one demand in the world. And a lot of you said right after that, time freedom, money freedom, financial freedom, time and money, time and money, time and money, 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 money. And listen, I'm with my people that be like, money isn't everything. Yes, but it's right up there with oxygen, isn't it? Yeah, because here's the reality. The reason why I'm able to be a better tither is because I have the money to do so. The reason I'm able to be a better resource for my family is because I sacrifice some things, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, here's the reality of the world we live in. It's the land of the free and the home of the brave. But so many people are not brave enough to pursue their dreams and pursue their goals and pursue their freedom because they care about what other people think. And you have to be okay with the temporary loss of social esteem for the permanent gain of your freedom, for the permanent gain of your life being your best life. See, here's one thing that I've learned to be okay with, right? Because yeah, everyone answered this correctly. The number one freedom desired by so many people is financial freedom. It is the number one freedom desired by people around the world. This bypasses genders, cultures, races, religions, socioeconomic backgrounds. Everybody wants that desire. Many people desire this freedom to have financial stability, really independence. Another one is the personal freedom. People value the ability to make choices, the personal freedom and autonomy. People value the decision to make choices and decisions for themselves without interference or control from others. But do we really exercise that freedom when sometimes, and I'm not talking to everybody, when sometimes you care so much about what somebody says or how somebody reacted or what they're going to think that you do not pick up the phone? to smile and dial and contact somebody that you know needs this blessing. One thing, if you know me, you know, one thing I want people to be able to say at my coming home celebration one day when I transition out of this earth, she was one of the most persistent people I've ever met. At first, when I got into entrepreneurship, I was like, man, what are people going to think? What are people going to think? And here's what I figured out. They're going to talk anyway. And 90% of the people that we actually care, 90% of the people that we care about their opinions, right? That we care about what they think, that we care about what they're going to say, we care about their perception of us. You want to know the reality? More than 90% of those people we call friends or family that we care so much about their opinions, they're going to make a decision to come or not to come to your funeral based on the weather outside. But we spend the majority of our lives caring what other people think. So I tell you, and I encourage everyone on this call, yes, have financial freedom at the forefront of your mind. Have the freedoms that you need, time freedom at the forefront of your priorities. But make sure that you are exercising the freedom of choice each and every single step of the way. That you are exercising the freedom of expression, the freedom to express your thoughts, your opinions, your beliefs openly without censorship. This is one of the joys of living in the country where we live in. We have the freedom of speech, the freedom of movement. Do you all know that that is still one of the top freedoms desired around the world today? The freedom of movement, because the ability to travel and move freely, both within and between countries, is a desire for individuals in America and around the world. Why do you think the freedom of movement is one of those freedoms that so many people desire? Because type a 1 in the chat if you have something on your bucket list. Type a 1 in the chat if you're coming to Thailand. Type a 1 in the chat if you want to go somewhere that's not where you're at right now. I'm just saying, right? Yeah, everybody, of course. Even the ones that are not sending it to everyone, I got it, don't worry, right? But yes, the freedom of movement, the freedom to the ability to travel and move freely, because people do not want to stay stagnant. Just like the number one demand in the world is the demand to make more money, people then want to be able to move. People want to be able to travel. This is why what we have is something special. Travel is an inherent yes. Last week, we briefly spoke about one of our teammates' moms. Shout out to Trey, shout out to Miss Nelly, came back from her getaway. Sorry, it wasn't an escape, right? My bad. It was a getaway. And here's why I can't stop talking about it. Because she had not been on a vacation in over 30 plus years. This woman works at the post office, very long hours. I'm talking about 10 to 12-hour days, has raised 3 amazing children, has grandchildren. She is one of the rocks in her family. But this is why I can't nobody stop me from talking about the good life every day. If all I get is one more person to have that type of experience, I'll be satisfied with my life. I'll be satisfied, because that is worth more than money. And wait, Suhani, you wanna hear wow? Wait, Denise. Let me tell you what the wow part of that was. Okay, she used her getaway, which if you don't know, and if you're brand new, you're like, what is this, right? So you get a getaway when you get one of our packs. You get a getaway when you get one of our nutrition packs, our skincare packs, our traveler pack, or our pro pack or our power pack. Well, she got started with a preview pack, booked her getaway. So some people are like, oh man, you do have to pay a $99 activation fee. Cool. And you have to, if you want, right, because you have thousands of options that are at a no charge, but we found a few that were no charge during the date she wanted to go. And we literally booked this a week before she left, right? Because she has a sporadic vacation schedule with the government, either here nor there. We made it happen, Captain, because we gonna make it happen, right? So long story short, she's going, and not only is she going on this getaway, but she is going to Mexico. And y'all know I love Mexico Epico, okay? And she is going to one of the Azul Fives. And if you don't know what the Azul Fives are, I want you to Google the Azul Fives. And yes, the Fives are included in our getaway program. You got to pay an upgrade fee, but hear me now. So she paid $99 activation. And then she said, well, I see all of these other ones are no charges, but that's for the room. Aren't I going to have to pay for food? I said, yes, you are. I said, let's see what options we have. Well, she paid an extra $288 to upgrade to all-inclusive. Okay. She paid $288 to upgrade to all-inclusive. And she paid $200 in taxes. So you're talking about $200 in taxes. And by the way, fun fact, if you're planning on using your getaway and you want to go to the Fives, the $200 are in taxes, whether it's one person or 4 people in your room. I'm just saying. Okay. So sidebar, coming back to where we was at. So $200 in taxes, $288 for the upgrade to all inclusive, and a $99 activation. We're talking about $588 for 5 days and 4 nights at a 4 Diamond resort. So for my people that are like, oh man, I wish you didn't have to pay that $99 activation. Well, she's very, very happy. Here's why. Because the same exact place on their website was coming up for $1,997. That's right. $3 shy of $2,000 to stay at a 4 Diamond resort. Yes, we got the deal. Do you know every day she was there, she went live to show people her room, to show people her food, to talk about her experience. Incredible, because the freedom of movement is one of those desires, one of those freedoms that people want around the world. So if you're thinking that, yes, man, I want to do this for financial freedom, I want to do this for personal freedom and autonomy, and I want to do this for time freedom, but how about the freedom of movement for people to be able to have that? You know how many people are like Miss Nelly that have not gone on a vacation and are in desperate need of one? If all people did was use the product, we would be great, because what we have our hands on allows people to save money every single day. Every single day. So as you're going out there this summer, use your products. You're going to a theme park, use your website. You're going to a water park, use your website. Use it every single day. The more money you save every single day, the more people you're going to help have these experiences with the product. Here's another one of the freedoms that are desired around the world. Freedom from fear, freedom from violence, right? People desire to live in a society free from fear, violence, and oppression. And that kind of goes with the freedom, with the human basic need of certainty and security, right? And the reality is that the freedom that we have here, when we talk about this community, one of the reasons that this community is so sacred is because it's a family. When we're going to Freedom Academy, right? You're talking about one of the reasons that this meets our events meet your basic human needs. And why I said that attending events is the best addiction you'll ever have, because it's going to meet your need for certainty. It's going to meet your need for uncertainty and variety. It's going to meet the need for significance, but it's going to meet the need for connection. Why? Because it's the family reunion vibes that you get. The community is everything. The energy is just unexplainable, but it has to be experienced because it simply cannot be put into words. And if you're one of those people that are like, I don't even know if that is something that I need, I promise you, you go to one event, you won't stop coming. If you thought that the SRT was something, you got to, the national is going to be out of this world. And I will share to you that all of the reasons that are creeping up in your head right now that have stopped you from purchasing your freedom ticket, that have stopped you from purchasing your flight, that have stopped you from making sure that you're at Freedom Academy, is every reason why you need to be there. Is every reason why you should not let this just go out of your hands. Because I'm telling you about why did I say that going to our events is one of the greatest addictions? Because if you don't know, 2 of your basic human needs, right? 2 of the first 4 have to do with primal. They have to do with the necessity for survival and a successful life, which is certainty and security, the uncertainty, the variety, the significance, and the connection and love, right? But the last 2 are the spiritual, which are your need for growth and your need for contribution. And these 2 spiritual needs of growth and contribution, it leads to the most fulfillment. But why did I say that it's the best addiction? Because whenever you have 2 of these whenever you have 3 of our basic human needs met, it becomes an addiction. Why do you see so many people love this community? It's because it's meeting all of their basic human needs. Like, if you do not understand, if you are asking yourself, man, why am I tired in this routine? I will share with you, and this is something that I had to discover as I was in my work, because I was working 70, sometimes 80 hours a week. And I was like, I'm making all this money. I don't understand, why am I not fulfilled? But it was because, yes, it was meeting my need of certainty, but it was not meeting my need of variety. It was not meeting my need of the unknown. It was not meeting, and I wasn't getting that feeling of connection. I wasn't getting that feeling of significance. I was no longer in that space where I was growing. Because, guys, if you are in a state where all you're seeing is the same 4 walls over and over, and the same people over and over and over and over and over again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. And it hit me. I was like, no wonder I'm miserable here, because my basic human needs are no longer being met. I no longer find value in learning and sitting and talking to the same people every single day. I have to switch it up, because if I do not, I am going to go crazy. Right? And again, this is just my personal story, but this is what made me realize that I needed to do everything it took to make sure that I was working on freedom, to make sure that I was not letting it slip by. And here's the reality that, and going back to like how things come full circle, right? When we were talking about the freedom that you get at these communities, it's also the freedom that you're getting to be able to be that person for other people. Had I not done the necessary sacrifices, I would have not had the freedom that I needed to the last 9 months of my mother's life to be able to take care of her. I would have not had the freedom of movement to be able to take her around the world, to be able to help people do the same. Imagine if I would have stopped. Imagine if I would have stopped pursuing freedom. A lot of you that are on this call right now would have never even been on this call today. If I would have stopped pursuing freedom, this young man's mom that just went on a vacation for the first time in over 30 years would have not gone. Imagine if I would have given up on freedom. Imagine. I don't even want to imagine what that looks like. And yes, these are the top freedoms that people want around the world. But the reality is that freedom, here's why you want to work on freedom, because it's more beneficial, right? And even when you don't think it's beneficial, it's beneficial, okay? Some of you will get that on the way out, and it's okay. But here are some of the benefits of you having freedom. It can lead to personal growth and fulfillment. When you have the freedom to pursue your passion, to pursue your interests, anybody in the world, you're going to feel fulfilled. You're going to feel satisfied with your life, because it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to lead you to not only being in your peak potential, but being at your highest and best use each and every single time. The more you grow, the more you can help others grow. Each one, reach one, teach one. Freedom can also foster creativity and innovation. Man, do you know how much things we have planned for this week of Freedom Academy? From golf to pool party, to social media and content creation, to a yoga class, to a cowboy party. Like, we have so many things that we are working on because we want people to think. We want people to express themselves. We want people to experiment. We want people to come up with new and innovative ideas. We want this. Why? Because we know when you're in a state of creativity, not only can this lead to advances in your business, right? But the world needs more people that are tapping into their creativity. The world needs more people that have the freedom to express themselves, the freedom to create, the freedom to explore, the freedom to innovate, the freedom to lead in not just business and finance, but the freedom to lead and to impact, right? And to take it to the next level in art and in science and all types of things. But are you working on those freedoms? Are you taking advantage of the freedom? See, here's another thing that freedom does. Here's another one of those benefits, right? Freedom promotes the diversity and tolerance. And you're like, how does freedom promote diversity? Like, that's weird. Well, when individuals are free to live their lives as they see fit, like, type a 1 in the chat if you're that person that's like, I want to live my life as I see free, Pam. Like, I want to be able to live my life. Yes, 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 yes. Make sure you're telling it to all families and attendees. I love it. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here's the reality. When individuals are free to live their lives as they see fit, without fear of persecution and discrimination, this promotes diversity. This promotes equal opportunity. This promotes tolerance. This promotes growth. This promotes community because it allows people of different races, religions, backgrounds, socioeconomic, it doesn't matter, but it allows everyone to coexist peacefully. Like, I don't know about you guys, but man, sometimes when I'm looking, I don't like, truth be told, I don't even watch the news. Okay. I have zero cable at my house. Like, that's that. But sometimes, right, I'm out, I'm at the coffee shop, and you know how like people just got the news on and stuff, and you're like, is that really what's going on in the world? I am so happy I do not subscribe to that. Like, I do not subscribe to that class. But the reality is that more and more people want a diverse community. More and more people want to grow. More and more people want to get out of the box. But the freedoms are constrained. And it's not that we are constrained physically. The freedom that hinders most people is the freedom within the limits that we constrain within our mind. So it's like, if we can expand our mind and if we can give ourselves the permission to not only express ourselves, the freedom to grow, the freedom to let go of who and what does not serve us, so that we can exercise the benefits of freedom, so that we can help more people attach freedom. That's what's more powerful. And you're talking about, what are another of the benefits of freedom? It can create a more just society. Type a 1 in the chat. I'm not even going to get into this topic, but it is what it is. I already said it. Type a 1 in the chat if you want a more just society. Like, yes, please. It's okay. Yep. Absolutely. I remember one of my mentors, when I was talking, I remember talking to one of my mentors, and my grandfather had just transitioned to heaven, and we had a major event coming up, like the one that we have coming up right now, Freedom Academy. And I literally got the news as I was landing. And so funny enough, it was in Arizona. And I was landing in Arizona, and my phone was blowing up. My mom was blowing up my phone. I saw messages from my cousins, like, check the family chat. We need to call 911. And like, imagine your phone's like blowing up, right? I'm like, thank God I was on the airplane. because I literally had over 85 messages between family chats and people reaching out to me. And I remember having a conversation with my mentor, and I had like immediately run to the bathroom. Do you know when you have like one of those moments that you're like, you can't talk to anybody, you don't want to see anybody, because if you see anybody, you talk to anybody, it's just going to be, you're going to do the ugly cry. So I was like, I don't know. And I remember going into the bathroom and I was talking to him and I was like, man, you know, I can't, like right now, I was like, part of me wants to go to the Dominican Republic and be with my family because, man, my grandfather just transitioned to heaven. I said, but then part of me feels like it is my freedom of expression. It is my freedom of choice. And it's the freedom that he would want me to exercise. That this is why, right? He wanted his daughter, my mom was his oldest child. This is why he wanted his children to come to America, because they wanted opportunity. But the reality is that you need to seize opportunity within the lifetime of the opportunity. And my grandfather took our family's legacy only to where he knew better. But now it is my turn to take our family's legacy to the next spot. And I remember my mentor telling me he agreed with me. He was like, I agree with you. And he said, and let me not let you feel guilty. He said, the reality is, if you told your family, I am studying for the bar. And if you don't know what the bar is, that is like the bar for when you're studying, when you just finish law school and you're passing the bar, right? If you were telling your family that you needed to take the bar exam, or that you needed to take medical boards, and the boards are when you are becoming a doctor, right? You need to pass these boards exams. Guess what they would say? What do you think they would say? We understand, right? We understand. And the reality is that your family would understand if you're taking the boards, or if you're taking a law school exam or anything associated. Why? Because society has placed such high importance on education. But why aren't we placing that same importance on freedom? So the reality is that if you would actually, exactly, Michelle, my family, 1,000%, especially Caribbean, Dominican people, please. Oh my goodness, yes. Because everybody's a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, or in the military, okay? And all of my family, that's professionals and military. That's all of my family. That's what it is. So, and I had to make a choice. And I said, you know what? I'm going to choose freedom, because I know that it is my turn to take our family's legacy to the next level. And the reality is that if I would treat this vehicle, it would give me more time and financial freedom than any doctor and any lawyer could ever have. And because I decided, because when you make a decision, you kill off all other options, because I decided and I said, hey, you know what? I know that my family is going to feel some type of way, but I know that if I do not if I know for sure, if I leave Arizona and I do not stay at this event, I am certainly not going to get freedom. For sure, 1,000%. I am certainly minimizing my odds of getting freedom, of attaining that freedom, whether it's the freedom that is going to lead for financial freedom, the freedom for time freedom, the freedom to foster creativity and innovation, the freedom to promote diversity, to the freedom for personal growth and fulfillment, the freedom of expression, or the freedom of movement, or the freedom from fear. Guess what? I was sure not to have it if I missed that event. So I stayed in Arizona. Did I have a lot of people that were saying, yes, oh my goodness, I'm proud of you? What do you think the majority of people in my family were saying? I can't believe her. How dare she, right? But my own mother understood. And she said, you know what? I'm proud of you. And that's all I needed. But even if she didn't tell me that, I already had made my decision. And what was worse is that I was like, cool, I'm making sure my brother comes. He's coming here. He's not going to DR, because we need to work on freedom for you, Mom. This is why grandpa let you come to this country. Because see, the reality is that we want the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom, but we have the freedom for opportunity. But here's what happens, because we are so conformed to what this society conforms us to the norm, the normalcy, right? In this society, or what we think is normal, it's really quite mediocre if you think about it, because that 40-40-40 plan is dead. And I'm not saying that jobs are mediocre or anybody, no. I'm saying the mindset, okay, behind to give your entire life to something that is not going to get you freedom, because I had to figure it out. I was the ignorant person, okay? I'm just, being real. I was the ignorant person that used to call network marketing or direct sales pyramid schemes. That was me. I was like, those pyramid things don't work. And it wasn't that it never worked, because I tried a dozen of them until I actually found one that I was like, oh, I'm going to actually see it. It was that I wasn't working. It's like you want all of these things, and then you get an opportunity and you squander it because of your own limiting beliefs, because of your mindset, because of your past, because of experience, because of what other people think. But guess what? Those same people that were talking smack about me not being there for my grandfather's funeral were the same people that had zero time to come and visit my mom while she was sick. The same people that had zero financial resources to help with my mom's nutrition, to help with my mom's medical bills. Because when the insurance stopped covering it, guess who had the freedom to be able to cover it? When nobody had the time freedom, guess who did have the time freedom? Because I made the certain sacrifices along the way. So I ask you, what does freedom mean to you? See, freedom to me is doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. What I want, where I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. That was what freedom means to me. What does freedom mean to you? And because freedom means that to me, I understand that sacrifice precedes success. You have to be willing to sacrifice something. I don't know what that something's going to be like for you. But what does freedom truly mean to you? Because when you know what freedom truly means to you, you're willing to do it until. What does that until look like? I don't know. How many more presentations are you willing to do? I don't know. Somebody asked me, they're like, oh, you're doing another weekly today? Yes. There weren't a lot of guests last week. So what? I'm going to do it every week until, I don't know. I'm going to keep hitting up people every day until, I don't know. What does freedom mean to you? The reality is that I know the circle of life. I've experienced it. I've been in it head on. So because I know that, my why is different. It's not only about me. I already have time freedom. I can do what I want, when I want, however I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. I already have that. But now it's how many more people can I help attain that? Because that is where the world is going. The majority of my friends are starting to lose more and more of the people they love, more and more of their parents. It's just a circle of life. The majority of my friends are now at that stage where they're like, man, I need freedom. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, what are you willing to sacrifice so that you are not seeing that same story July 6, 2024? Because as we're going into third quarter, what are you willing to do different? Forgive yourself for the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, forgive yourself for what you didn't do up until this morning. But what are you going to do different now? What are you willing to sacrifice so that you can get the freedom that you desire, so that you can get the freedom that you deserve, so that you can live the life of abundance and prosperity you were created to live? We were not created to live a life of scarcity, a life of poverty. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, we were created and designed to live a prosperous and abundant life. but what are you willing to sacrifice so that you can live the life of freedom you deserve? That is the question for everyone as we wrap up this call. And I want to leave you with this. What you do not sacrifice now, it will be a sacrifice for you later. And what do I mean by that? If you are not willing to sacrifice time right now, if you're not willing to sacrifice other people's opinions, whatever you do not sacrifice now will sacrifice you. And what I mean by that, it is going to hurt you later on more than it is going to help you. What do you even care? What do you care about what they think? What do you care what they're going to say? Now, am I telling you like, oh my goodness, go and quit your job? No, I'm not telling you to do that. Okay, I'm not telling you to do that. Not yet anyway. Okay, let's work a little bit more on this. But sacrifice precedes success. What are you willing to do to get to the level of freedom that you desire? Because the reality is we all need to sacrifice something just for a season. If you are casual about your dreams, if you're casual about your goals, if you're casual about this opportunity, this will be a casualty. Whatever you are casual about, it will be a casualty. Be on fire for your freedom. Be on fire to help other people be free. We have to seize this opportunity within the lifetime of the opportunity. With that being said, make sure you are at Freedom Academy, secretdirectevents.com next week. We will not be having our Breakfast Club call because of Freedom Academy. We will postpone it for the following week, but blessings to each and every single one of you guys. And I will see you guys at Freedom Academy. Great day and God bless. Thank you guys so much. Breakfast has been served. Appreciate you. Yes, Lisa, sacrifice is the fee you pay for success. It is not a fine you have to pay. Yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, 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 honey.